Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Brian if you're new around here, and for returning subscribers, welcome back, Soul Nation. You look marvelously smashing and downright, gorgeous if I don't say so myself. That's what you get for subscribing, by the way. Free compliments with my videos. Today, guys, we're diving into the New World patch notes. They actually got them hidden over on the official forums. I'll include a link in the description if you want to go read them for yourself or read along with me. Now, at the other side of the coin, I want to make sure that you guys are aware over on Twitter. Honestly, you should probably just delete Twitter. But if you're going to be stubborn, you might as well follow me. I'm giving away a copy of this game, so you can check the top link in the description if you want to have a chance of winning that. We'll be giving out that code on the 28th to somebody who likes, retweets, and follows on Twitter. Really, just delete Twitter. It's going to make your lives a lot better. But you know what? You do you. And if you're going to be stubborn, there you go. A chance to win a free copy of New World. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the notes. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts overall. I'm really excited about the game. Open beta is going on right now. If you guys are curious, you can always check the New World playlist in the description. You'll see those links there. Or if you're looking for a company, some people to team up with in this game for launch, you can always check out our Discord. We're going to be doing lots of New World content coming up here on the channel. So, the world experience, expeditions. They fixed instance of boss encounters failing to begin or restart their encounters in multiple expeditions. They fixed an issue where players can get stuck between the Charitus and the Arena of the Lazarus Instrumentality. Fixed an issue where laser walls were not dealing damage in Stardown Barrows. They fixed an issue where Archibald will respawn during the fight in Starstone Barrows. They fixed an issue with the Vine Bridge disappearing in the Garden of Genesis. And they fixed an issue where players could be blocked from entering the Priest mini-boss room in the depths. So what we're going to see here from a content perspective, since the closed beta, they have been tuning and focusing. New content for the game will drop at some point, some undisclosed amount of time after the game launches. So just, keep it locked here. We'll be covering the updates to this game as we go forward. But note that a lot of this is going to be bug fixes and server stability and improvements and more. Regarding the world, they smoothed the access point to the ship flags and the starter beaches. They increased the interact range on the ship flags on the starter beaches. That's really good. I was having problems with that in the closed beta. They added additional directional beacons into the FTUE. They fixed issues where teleport shrines would not appear on the map, compass, or have a beacon of light. They improved spawn rates throughout the world locations where bottlenecking players on the same quest and missions. They improved lighting and starting beaches at night to be less dark. That's actually really nice. Quests. Fixed multiple quests across the world that were causing bottlenecks due to large amounts of players attempting them at the same objective. Yes, absolutely. They fixed an issue where players could become locked while interacting to certain lore notes. They updated the text description and unpleasant task to direct players to the correct watchtower. They fixed instances where AI would respawn limitlessly for certain quests. The tech updates. They fixed various town mission exploits. If you guys weren't aware, massive way to level. You just grab all the boards. That seems to be fixed with this note right there. Green, yellow, and red replacement validations are now shown when decorating homes. They fixed an issue where the visual effects for loot containers were missing when under high load. They fixed circumstances where certain NPCs would be invisible before interacting with them. Regarding the AI and different tuning adjustments, generally they increase damage scaling for AI above level 50 and above gradual scaling from 0 up to 25% at level 66. They increased health scaling for AI above level 30, gradually scaling from 0 up to 15% at level 66. Open world and non-boss elites increased health and damage to bring them more in line with expedition difficulty enemies. Nice. This is a multiplicative with the chance of noted in general AI. They increased the damage of non-boss open world elites by 12 to 17%, and they increased health of elite plus AI, corrupted ogres, corrupted bears, etc. by 60%. Massive buff to the enemies. I guess you could consider that maybe that a debuff on our end. But honestly, I think it's improved. That's when I see open world stuff, you want it to be challenging. Not everything to obviously be like sweaty, but at the end of the day, you still want to have that challenge that encourages, subtly group play in that regards. Open world and arena bosses, they increased health and damage to bring them more in line with expedition difficulty enemies, and this is also multiplicative with what they changed with regarding the general changes. Increased boss damage by 20%, increased boss health by 33%. Regarding expeditions, they've increased damage for all expeditions by 13%. And this is also multiplicative. I got it right that time. Notable bug fixes. Players may no longer transfer boss status effects back to the boss through the use of Contagious Reverse Backstab perk. They resolved several leashing bugs that allowed players to kill AI from unreachable positions. They resolved a bug preventing Dynasty trainees from damaging the player. Now, regarding arenas, the Spriggan now uses heal behavior more consistently, now uses the Vine Whip sweep attack while his target is in melee range, increased run speed and accuracy of target movement when chasing a target, fixed an issue stopping him from using the burrow to pursue all far-range targets, and they fixed an issue allowing the Spriggan to be attacked while spawning. Regarding expeditions, the Depth, the Archelon Almanza, they fixed an issue that caused the Arch Mines not to be destroyed when he is interrupted by destroying his monoliths. Fixed an issue that caused the Archelon to skip phases if pulled to room entrance. The Dynasty Shipyard, Empress Zhao, fixed a bug causing pedestal hitboxes to be up too high. The Garden of Genesis, they fixed an issue causing Alavrum's root wall to AoE attack and not reach the edges of the arena. Blighton Greenkeeper has fixed an issue allowing her to throw a boulder on herself and take heavy damage in phase 3. Starstone Burrows, they fixed an issue that sometimes caused the Undying Army spawners to not despawn when she dies. Lazarus Instrumentality, Charteris, resolved an issue allowing his phase 3 beam attack to not correctly end after the target had been down. Tuned damage volumes to be more consistent with player experience. So combat, PvP scaling. PvP scaling has been reduced. The level difference will matter more in your encounters, meaning that you will take more hits for a lower level player to kill a higher level player and less hits for a high level player to kill a lower level player. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. I think it makes sense at the end of the day, but at some point you're going to have more high level players than low level players overall. That's the assumption, I guess. We'll have to wait and see. Attribute threshold bonus, reduce Constitution 250 attribute threshold bonus damage reduction bonus from 80% to 60%. The Warhammer, reduce Warhammer hardened steel damage reduction bonus from 20% to 15%. Regarding the sword, Fleeting Justice passive will now only remove a single debuff, not all debuffs. Fortitude has been replaced with Invigorating Bulwark. This passive will grant 15 stamina on hit and the Shield Bash and Shield Rush abilities. Leaping Strike startup frames reduced from 16 to 14, and Leaping Strike distance increased from 4 to 6. That's actually, I think, a really nice buff for Leaping Strike. One of the reasons why I've never really taken it. Counterattack has been modified to be able to stack and obtain a better bonus. Now it grants a 3% empower for 5 seconds when blocked and blocking an attack, and can stack up to 5 times for a max of 15% empower bonus. Previously, it would grant 10% empower for 20 seconds after blocking an attack. Life Staff, the Sacred Protection passive, changed to grant 5% increased incoming healing efficiency to all group members, used to grant additional max HP, and reduce effectiveness of Orbit Protection Fortify from 15% to 10%. The Berserk duration for the hatchet has reduced to 12 seconds, and the cooldown has been increased to 18 seconds. And Berserk Refresh now heals 10% every 4 seconds, while Berserk is active to a max of 30%. This was every 5 seconds to a max of 35%. So a little bit of a change in how that functions. Now, Great Axe reduced effectiveness of Gravity Well Unyielding Fortify upgrade from 15% to 10%. The reduce the Great Axe Enduring Strike damage reduction bonus from 20% to 15%, and the second hit of Reap will no longer has a stagger on it. Regarding the bow, they reduce effectiveness of bow's Unbreakable Focus Fortify passive from 20% to 10%. Chain perks. Now this has reduced the number of times that chain perks chained together to target from 5 to 3. Chain elemental perks now only trigger off basic attacks, light and heavy, and have a 2-second cooldown. Equip load updates. The 20% damage increase for light equipped loads and the 10% damage increase for medium equipped loads should also affect the healing output of the character. Healing is reduced by 20% to account for this. We want the best healer to be in light gear. Reduce the medium equipped load threshold from 15 to 13 and the heavy threshold from 30 to 23. For armor, they normalize the weight of protection ratios, physical and elemental imbalance, with each armor class. They increase the armor provided by chest pieces to reduce the amount provided by helmets. Slightly increase the armor granted by balance ratios to match the total armor provided, but physical and elemental ratios. Reduce the weight of round and kite shields. Housing trophies. Reduce damage bonus against creature families from 6, 8, 10 to 3, 4, and 5%. So it looks like they cut that basically by 50% overall across the board. Clamping for Empower and Fortify buffs, potions will now be reduced by the Clamping and Empowering and Fortify buffs 50% max. Elemental damage consumables updated the duration from 3 minutes to 30 seconds. When they say updated duration from 3 minutes to 30 seconds, they reduced. That's what they're saying. But it's weird that they put the word updated. They updated the effect of consumables from 10% to 25% to 9% to 15%. So those both got reductions. Creature family absorption consumables updated duration from 5 minutes to 20 seconds. Another debuff. Updated amount of hits players can take using the creature family consumables. In this case, from 10, 15, 20 to 5, 10, 15. They reduced the effect of the creature consumables to 5, 10, and 15% accordingly, and they set the absorption consumables to have 120 second shared cooldown. The Oak Flesh Bomb and Gemstone Dust consumables, they updated the duration for the bomb and the gemstone consumables from 5 minutes to 30 seconds. They updated the amount that it hits players that can take when the Flesh Bomb and Dust consumables reduction, now 6, 9, 12, and 15, and they increased the effect from 5, 7, 10, 15 to 10, 17, 25, and 35. So that's the buff in here in terms of the effectiveness and percentage. Siege turrets, they increased explosive cannon damage by 30%, capped repeater max damage fall off at 90% instead of 100%. Reaper damage fall off now starts at 80 meters instead of 60 meters, and siege weapon damage is now being mitigated by armor. Siege weapons increased damage by 20%. Lifestyle buff, reduced the effectiveness of Arcane Blessing lifestyle buff, corrupted enemy absorption from 20% to 5%. For the perks, Fortify recovery effectiveness reduced from 30% to 10. Keen fortified effectiveness reduced the same amount. Mortal fortification effectiveness reduced the same amount. Healing potions increased the base health gained from health potions from 160 ranging up to looks like 1800 to a buff of 200 ranging up to 2400, and decreased the amount of health gained from potions based on a percentage of their max from 15% to 7%. They increased base healing regeneration potions from 30 all the way up to 180 to 40 all the way up to 240, and decreased the amount of health gained per section from the region bonuses based off a percentage of the max HP from 1.5% to 0.7%. Endurance potions, they removed endurance potions from alchemy crafting stations, and this item has now been removed completely from the game. Gems, the Amber Gem reduced the damage scaling obtained in an Amber Gem, aka Nature, when putting attributes into focus by 20%. To make the healer's secondary weapon a bit less powerful in terms of raw damage output for focus builds. So if you guys aren't aware, let's say you want to do an axe, you want to do like in a healing, you can do the Amber Gem that would basically says takes your highest level stat. In this case, it looks like they got it. They cut it down by 20% effectiveness, so you don't end up having like overpowered healing builds in this regards. Attribute threshold bonuses, they adjusted the strength 50, 100, and 150 attribute bonuses to prevent the damage bonus from being applied to elemental melee attacks. It will only apply to physical damage, and this is to prevent doubling up on bonuses when using elemental conversion gems with those attributes. War, the small deployables, Inferno Traps and Powder Kegs now have shared a deployment limit of 15 per team in War and Invasion. Notable bug fixes. Move speed increases. Fixed an issue where players having a permanent speed buff applied. They move speed decreases. Fixed an issue where having the move speed count could not be slowed by more than 10%. Stuck on load screen. Fixed an issue where players were stuck on the infinite load screen while respawn and random starter beach and they died before getting to the watchtower or respawn point. Life staff speed of light upgrade now functions. That's good. Jump. You are now able to jump in an exhausted state. Attribute threshold bonuses. 250 constitution bonuses should now have a 60-second cooldown. Attribute threshold bonuses. 150 constitution bonus should now only reduce damage from critical hits, not all hits. Reward from duels. Players should no longer be able to get PvP rewards from duels. Sword. That's kind of a bummer. I like that. I like dueling. I think that's a good thing. It is what it is. Sword leadership passive will no longer persist after leaving the group. Life staff menacing touch no longer removes all debuffs, only one. The life staff also magnify ultimate now extends buff durations. Life staff inspire will now increase stamina. A great axe heavy pull passive no longer causes heavy attack to hit twice. The enduring strike also now reduces damage by 20% while in grit. The bow deep strike upgrade will only increase damage on penetrating shot, not all attacks. The swap weapons, when using the swap weapon keybind, your weapon ability wheel will now toggle when swapping weapons. That's a huge fix. When using contagious reverse backstab perk, damage over time attacks that are transferred to the other player will now cause damage. Fixed issues that would cause you to get into a fall state while navigating downstairs and inclines. Hey, all right, that annoyed me. Just running downstairs, all of a sudden you're like, oh, gonna fall for a minute. They fixed jittery navigation animations when becoming encumbered. Darkness events fixed many crashes and freezes when engaging with darkness events. Heavy perk or hardy perk fixed a bug that would cause you to not only be able to block or dodge when having the hardy perk equipped. They fixed camera swapping and rotation so it could occur in fishing. Leadership for the sword passive no longer persists when leaving a group. They've already stated that. Fun. Life staff menacing touch net power no longer removes all. So now it seems like we're kind of getting a couple extras there. And repeat. Life pylon. Health bar should now be blue for allies and red for enemies. Life staff inspired upgrades now functions. Siege weapons damage is now mitigated by armor. Life staff splash of light will only heal group members as intended. Bow unbreakable focus buff can now no longer stay on forever outside of the aiming state. Attackers' cannons can now be attacked during upgraded process during wars. Hatchet, the stay back passive now applies correctly at 25% slow for 4 seconds. They fixed an animation canceling that caused the bow to shoot at a faster rate than intended. The Ice Gauntlet Ultimate Chill should now apply a chill debuff and increased ice damage taken by enemies by 35% for 3 seconds as intended. The Ice Gauntlet Empowered Strike should now apply an increased damage when the target is below 30% health as intended. They also, for the Ice Gauntlet, Refreshing Spikes should now give a cooldown reduction as intended. For war, defenders no longer use the respawn option to spawn at the rally point before the war is started. And damage conversion gems fixed a bug where the intellect attribute threshold bonuses were being applied twice when using a damage conversion gem. Economy, progression, and rewards. So for progression, they added a T4 and 5 exhaust staff that will be unlocked in the main story quest. T4 is required at the completion of level 50 corrupted breaches, and T5 is required for the completion of level 60 and 65 corrupted breaches. Reduce the XP for town projects. Raw material turn-ins reduced by 25%. Refining material turn-ins reduced by 30%. Crafting our armaments turn-ins now reduced by 50%, and provision turn-ins now reduced by 50%. The XP required to level at lower levels has been reduced by a small amount, and the XP required to level from 20 to 30 has been reduced by a medium amount. The reduction of faction granted per mission PvP missions for Monarch Bluffs, Cutlass Keys, and Morningdale to account for their shorter travel times. And the crafting removed the recipes for endurance potions. This item has been removed completely from the game. Rewards increased the drop rate for named items from expedition bosses. They adjusted the perks on many named weapons in an effort to make better distributable perks available by named weapons while making them more feel unique while synergized. Normalize the perks for all faction weapons and armor, and this change has been made at lower level faction armors to give crit chance defense instead of cooldown reduction. They increased the cost of all faction armor and weapons. They reduced socketed gems from faction armor. They now have an empty slot in the gem. They reduced gear store for tier 4 faction equipment from 495 to 490, and reduced the tier 5 equipment from 550 to 535. Equipment visuals, materials fixed for war weapon styles, the War Kite Shield and the Vengeful War Spear, the icon for various weapons and armor, the Tower Shield, Ice Gauntlet, Fire Staff, Life Staff, Hammer, and the Siren Area set, Round Shield, Kite Shield, Tower Shield, Fire Staff, Life Staff, and Ice Gauntlet in the Drowned Elite set. Notable bug fixes, another round of notable bug fixes. Many named items have duplicate and otherwise compatible perks that have been updated. They fixed an issue that was causing some very low level items to roll with perks, which could cause players to get green items that weren't special in any way. And other than that, the color green, which is special to some people. Good line. Fixed an issue that could have caused a fishing hotspot location to be visibly culled, which could make them exceptionally difficult to find. They updated the logic for teleporting players away from faction control points, so they will allow for more people from each faction to participate. They fixed the infinite loading wheel that could occur when you tried to purchase something from the trading post that had already been purchased by another person. They fixed issues that would cause the significant increase in influence gains for attacking factions after 72 hours. This increase is still present, but has been reduced by 50%. They fixed an issue that was causing invites to Outpost Rush to not time out correctly, which was causing them to still be considered part of the invasion group. They fixed an issue that would cause boss drops in an expedition to roll outside of their appropriate gear score range. Fixed issues that made it possible for players to trade directly with each other over long distances by fast traveling in the middle of a trade. And they fixed like a number of exploits with gold, item trading, and duplication. They fixed issues that was causing some name items to not drop expeditions. They fixed issues where players could get stuck on lag detected state. If they were removed from the war roster, then they get the war invite, but before they accept it. They fixed the conflict between queuing for war and playing in an expedition where a player could be pulled out of the expedition. They fixed an issue where fibers were giving tier 3 rewards instead of tier 2, and they fixed issues where seals were not working with all faction armors. They removed a note about the war camp gate strength because war camp gates are indestructible. They added the limit to the number of inferno traps that can be deployed during war. They fixed an issue that could cause an attacker turrets to be destroyed in one hit while they were mid-upgrade. And they fixed issues where the dying as a war resolved could cause the player to enter a state where they were unable to interact with the game. They fixed the issue where attacker cannons could not be attacked while the upgrade state, and they fixed the issues where the war sign-up boards don't display in correct times for players in different time zones. They fixed issues where players could spawn outside of the fort before a war started, and they added collision to the roof of the war camp. They fixed an issue with Ebonscale Reach war camp where defenders could get in using some nearby geometry. They fixed issues that were causing the vertical beams that capture points to be invisible during war. They fixed issues that could cause some player invites to be sent out too early. Fixed issues that would cause players to be entered into unresponsive state when put on standby during a war invasion. Fixed issues where siege weapons damage wasn't being mitigated by armor. They also fixed issues where rally points were lit up outside the war, and defenders no longer able to climb over walls in the war camp. This is an epic set of notes, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed. This has been fun. I like doing kind of patch note overviews. So if you guys hopefully enjoy this content and you feel like I earned it, hit that like button, subscribe, and share on this out with anybody that you feel that needs it. This is hopefully something good for you as you're hopefully enjoying the open beta. We're going to cover it tomorrow on the podcast, and we're going to do so much more. We got a lot content planned for New World for you guys, and hopefully you enjoy it. But outside of that, thanks just for being here. If you made it all the way to this end, sound off with patch notes, hooty hoot to hoot to hoo, or some kind of variation of that. I'll let the choice be up to you. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being here. Hopefully you have a fantastic day. Hope to see you in my next video. But until then, take care.
A little off topic, but I just want to say thank you for providing me a friendly, fun, and optimistic community. Baby. Coming from an MMO community filled with toxicity, this is an amazing breath of fresh air. Keep it up, baby. Oh, yeah.